eyes close to the lights. Yeah, having big dreams, little time. Yeah.
Peace and love to everybody tuning in today, everybody watching this video, every human being out there in the cosmos. Sending some good energy your way. Today, we're going to talk about the 7 Hermetic principles. And I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. I kind of touched on it in a previous video, but today we're going to dive deep into it and the importance of it, how powerful you become when you really understand these principles itself. This information that we're going to discuss today comes from a background of occult information, and occult just means hidden. So a lot of the world's elites and people who are very successful in this world, they know it, but a lot of people aren't willing to just share the information that's gotten them to that level of success. Well, now with us being in the age of Aquarius, we're in the age of knowing. So all the information that you want to know or that you think you know is going to be tried and true, tested, and revealed. We're going to go ahead and start this thing off, all right, with a little quote from the book called the Kybalion, or pronounced the Kybalion, all right? This book right here is a book where you can find the 7 Hermetic principles. You can also find it in the book called the Light of Egypt, or if you look up the Emerald Tablets, these are things that you can find these principles at. All right, these principles were written as well by the deity Hermes, which basically is an Egyptian god. All right, and we'll get into that later. But starting off, the principles of truth are 7. Okay, he who knows these understandingly possesses the magic key before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open. All right. So basically, if you know these principles in and out and you apply them to your life, then you become the master of your own life. You're no longer a pawn in this game that we're playing. Okay? So, starting off, the first principle is the principle of mentalism. All right? The principle of mentalism. So, the all is mind. All right? The universe is all mental. The all is mind. It explains that the all, which is the substantial reality underlining the outward manifestations and appearances, which we know under the terms of the material universe. Okay? The phenomena of life, matter, energy. In short, all that is apparent to our material senses, it's all considered spirit. Okay? Spirit, which in itself is unknowable, undefinable, but which may be considered and thought of as a universal, infinite, living mind. Many scientists, including like Sir Isaac Newton and many other Greek philosophers and people after these principles were established, they find a lot of their influences to come from these principles itself. Because spirituality and science are 2 different sides to the same coin, split apart. But when you apply spirituality to science, you get the whole encompassing thing. It's like you grasp these laws of the material universe and apply it to your life and well-being, and it'll advance you. When you know that everything starts in the mind, then you know that you can control how you react to certain situations, which in turn will bring about change to what could have possibly happened. For example, say you wake up and you're in a great mood this morning. You get up, you do some yoga, drink some tea, whatever, get your day started, and you walk outside. You start walking to your vehicle, and you notice that your vehicle has been broken into. You notice that some of the papers and things been shuffled around, some things have been missing. Now, with you having control of the mind, knowing that everything starts in the mind, it could be one of either 2 things. Maybe It's a sign. It can change. You can have a negative reaction to that, but what would that solve? You know, somebody broke into your car and you get upset about it and everything like that. Now, you being upset is not going to find the culprit. You being upset is not going to fix the issue that has already occurred. And it's not going to rewind time. You know, one thing that is common between many successful people in this world is that they all know that they're successful and they all think it. They all affirm it. They all wake up in the morning and they have routines knowing that, hey, I am who I am. I'm going to be this great person. I'm going to change the world. Things of that nature. Nobody in the successful realm is doubting themselves of a high caliber to whereas they don't think they can accomplish their goals. Because they know that nobody can do it except them. All right? So everything starts in the mind. You know, in order for the light bulb to be created, it had to start in the mind. The idea had to start. It had to come. It had to form. He had to think, hey, I wonder how I can manipulate energy into forming a light so that when it gets dark outside, I can still see. You know? That idea in itself, which started here, manifested into reality. Which is the reason why they say the all is spirit, because your spirit starts within. So if you're able to think, if I'm a video game creator and I have this video game in my head, all right, which is the mind, and then I create that video game, that is just materialized spirit. That's all it is. So, you know, at the end of the day, spirituality is a thing that we do every day. It's a thing that is a constant. It's not something you go every Sunday or, you know, whatever a lot of these religious aspects try to make it seem like. This is your life. Spirituality is a part of your everyday walk. Okay? So, that is the first principle. The second principle is the principle of correspondence. Okay? The principle of correspondence states that as above, so below. As below, so above. This principle is of the universal planes of the material, mental, and spiritual universe. Okay? It is a universal law and enables men to reason intelligently from the known to the unknown. And studying the monad helps he who understands that understands the archangel. All right, so let's break that down here, okay? So the monad, for one, is a circle with a dot in the middle. When you look at that circle with the dot in the middle, then if you look at it from a different dimension, that dot in the middle may be the top of the circle. The circle you're looking at, it could be a tunnel, it can be a pyramid, it could be the tip of a pyramid, or that dot in the middle could be like a black hole. It's all about perspective, because as above, so below. And the reason why we say as above, so below is because the same way we're in this material realm as it is right now, there's another realm. There's an astral realm. There's a celestial realm. There's an underworld realm. You know, these things are different. They're different levels of self. Because if you know that you are a part of the universe, you are a reflection of the Most High. You are a reflection of the Creator. You are a creator. If you make music, if you make art, you know, you can create anything, whether it be happiness, pain, love. So that makes you a mini creator, right? Right. So when you understand that as above, so below, like they said, it allows you to connect intelligently to other beings, because the same way we're maneuvering on this material realm, there are other beings and other entities maneuvering on the different realms. But when you have to be one with yourself and comfortable with yourself, having no fear or not allowing fear to stop you from diving deeper within yourself, confronting those dark corners in your mind, confronting those things that, you know, you've always thought about, man, maybe the what ifs. Once you understand that everything happens for a reason and there are no coincidences, life gets a little bit easier for you. Okay? So, let's move on to the next principle. The next principle is the principle of vibration. Alright? So, it says here that everything is in motion. Explains the differences between the different manifestations of matter, energy, mind, and even spirit. Result largely from varying rates of vibration. Okay? So, for example, everything is in a constant state of vibration. You go outside, you look at a tree, it's moving, it's vibrating. You look at a rock, it's vibrating. If you look at a bee, the way it's able to fly is because it's vibrating its wings at a constant rate at which it allows it to, fly in the air. Everything's at a constant state of vibration. Okay? It just depends on how fast it's vibrating. Right. So when you understand that in itself, you're able to kind of break free from a lot of constraints in the mind. You're able to understand that spirit vibrates so fast that it's practically at rest. Okay? And he that understands this principle of vibration has grasped the secret and the scepter to power. Now, this is the reason why, a lot of us go on and be like, we're walking and we're like, hey, man, you meet somebody and be like, oh, that person had a lot of good vibes. You're saying it every day. You're just not even realizing it. Or how you're walking to maybe a party and then, you'll brush by somebody and you're like, oh, that person had a negative vibe, a bad vibe. Everything is vibration. So if you know that, if you're having a bad day and you're not feeling too good, or you're feeling like your vibe is low, there are things that you can do to naturally raise your vibrations. So that's why it's important to understand that and understand that, because when you have a great concept of how vibration works, then you're able to control your vibe at any time, and you're able to alter and shift that, which becomes very, very powerful. All right. So moving on, the fourth principle is the principle of polarity. Okay? Everything is dual. All right? Two. Everything has poles. You got the North Pole, you have the South Pole, right? Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Good and evil are the same. All right? Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. So, the principle of polarity is basically letting you know that there is no good and bad. It's all the same. It's just a matter of what side of the spectrum you're on. Okay? Like light and dark. Out of the darkness came the light. So it's the same. It's a matter of what spectrum. People look at, people want to, praise and worship Jesus, but hate the devil. But both are within you. You have the ability to do great good, or you have the ability to do great harm. But you have that ability though. And you make the conscious choice as to what you want to do to others. That is your responsibility. But knowing that it is all within the same encompassing state lets you know that you can't judge, or that you can judge situations, but when you know this, you're able to easily identify people's mindsets. You're easily able to identify situations that you're in. You're able to understand that at the end of the day, there's levels to this. There are opposites in everything, and dual in everything. In this realm, okay? The material realm. So moving forward, the principle of rhythm is the fifth principle. The principle of rhythm basically states that everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything, and the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Hermetic polarizes himself at the point at which he desires to rest, and then neutralizes the rhythmic swing of the pendulum, which would tend to carry him back to the other pole. So that basically states that when you're a master of this Hermetic principle, that you're able to really control how far things go left and how far things go right. You're able to identify a situation that you're in and know that things will eventually fall, but with you knowing that, you can brace for the impact. With you knowing that, you can set yourself up in position to whereas the downward side of things, the left going swing to the left, it won't be as detrimental to you. You can more so have control over your response to the situations, which in turn will make things a lot easier for you. The sixth principle, the principle of cause and effect. Okay? Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes that law. So everything happens according to law. Nothing ever just merely happens. Everything happens for a reason. There are no coincidences. Oh, wow, that happened because it was supposed to happen. All right? By rising to a higher plane mentally, they become causers instead of effects. Okay? Masters rising above the plane dominate their moods, their characteristics, qualities, and powers, as well as the environment around them. They become movers instead of pawns when you truly understand the principle of cause and effect. All right? A lot of people at the top, a lot of these elitists that have been causing a lot of commotion in this plane, the reason why they're able to have so much control and so much power is because they knew these principles and applied them. Okay? It is important to understand these, not as a religious thing, but because this is knowledge that has been hidden from us, that is pretty much the gemstones to having a successful life. 7. Okay? The last principle of the 7 Hermetic principles is the principle of gender. Okay? Gender is in everything. Alright? Everything has a masculine and feminine principle. Gender manifests on all planes. So every single level of reality, whether it be the material realm, astral realm, whatever, all gender is on every single plane. You can be masculine, feminine, or androgynous, but you have gender. There's both there. The physical plane, gender manifests as sex. The principle of gender works ever in the direction of generation and regeneration and creation. When a baby is being formed in the womb, the child first starts off as a feminine entity and then later develops to either continue to be feminine or develops masculine. With that being said, that means that everybody who is born in this realm has the qualities of both feminine and masculine energies. But it's about balance. It's about what you choose to tap into and how you choose to balance that. All right? So these 7 Hermetic principles as a whole, when you apply these to your life, you become more divine than you already think you are. Basically, you realize your divinity. You realize that this is a game. You realize that you have control over your life, not some, God or outside of you, because you are a reflection of the Most High. Now, yes, there is a greater creator, yes. And you pay homage and you show your gratitude to that. Your ancestral spirits, you show gratitude to Mother Earth, your family, things like that. But know and understand that you are a part of that divinity as well. And so you must apply these things to your life. If you would like to see a change, if you're having issues at the moment, maybe it's because of the way you're processing things mentally. Because when you change and you know that the all is mind, then you know that you have control over the all. All right? So that is the breakdown of the 7 Hermetic principles. Okay? Hopefully those principles were very helpful, and hopefully you can dive deeper into that. Like I said before, you can check out the Kybalion, the Light of Egypt, the Emerald Tablets. I'll put those in the description below. All right, and on the next episode, we will continue this 7 series. And like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all for tuning in. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the day.